And instead what he did was invite Putin to come to the United States, do a photo op, and go home.
Well, they didn't have a photo op. They had a meeting, and the meeting then led to the meeting on Monday, and this is hopefully going to lead to the next one. And it's not going to be a quick process, and everybody wants it to end, as of yesterday. But I think they are pulling out all the stops here to end this as quickly as they can. But you're dealing with two people that you don't really control. You don't really control Zelensky, and you certainly don't control Putin. Yeah. And they have to participate.
No question.
That's Scott Jennings reminding the panel that diplomacy isn't judged by photo ops, it's judged by results. Democrats and establishment media hacks tried to paint Trump's summit as empty stagecraft, but instead they only got progress and panic as their fake talking points collapsed in real time. Welcome to Nerk News, I'm Nerkish, and it looks like CNN's meltdown over Trump's diplomacy has reached new levels of desperation. Because while Trump was pulling off actual progress, they were obsessing over imaginary optics and parroting the same tired Russia puppet lines from his first term. But anyone who has been over here with us in the Nerk Nation long enough can easily see through this charade. It's almost like they wanted the talks to fail just so they could scream, "See, we told you so." I mean, these people get more and more pathetic by the day. Here's Scott Jennings breaking it down for a speechless panel of liberal hacks.
The stated goal of this administration is for Ukraine to exit this sovereign and free and to be an ally of the United States. We're going to be in business with them on certain issues. And so if that's your stated policy, you have to put in place guarantees to keep them that way. So that's number one. Number two, President Trump hasn't always listened to Mr. Bannon. He didn't listen to him on Iran and ended up making a righteous decision to take out their nuclear facilities. And number three, just to counter your point, he's already using his tools, getting NATO to go to 5% on spending, those countries, using NATO as the vehicle to get more lethal weapons into Ukraine, putting tariffs on India for buying Russian energy. He's already showing the world what he intends to do here, and that is use American leverage in a number of venues to negotiate this out from a position of strength. They've also said, and I think it's true, you have to accept the world as it is. This is not going to end any other way than a negotiated peace. The only people to negotiate with here are the people involved. Putin and Zelensky. He met with Putin. He then brings Zelensky and the European allies to the White House. It was a show of strength last night, and now the fact that there's news leaking out that they are discussing security guarantees for Ukraine ought to tell you how serious he is about ending this in a way that meets the administration's stated goal, a free and sovereign Ukraine that is an ally of the United States.
You know, Democrats and their media cheerleaders act like if Trump doesn't walk out of a summit holding a signed treaty, it's a failure. But the reality is that's not how this works. I mean, when establishment media shills like Martha Raddatz whine that they didn't get every detail in real time, it sounds more like a toddler demanding candy than a serious journalist. Trump's job isn't to spoon-feed the media, it's to move the ball toward peace, and he did exactly that. He got Putin to acknowledge direct talks, Zelensky to signal openness, and Europe to step up. That's real progress, but because Trump didn't host a live PowerPoint presentation with bullet points for CNN, suddenly it's failure. Here's Marco Rubio laying out just how significant these meetings really were.
Well, I think the whole thing was a big moment. Unprecedented, really, when you think about all these European leaders came here, 7 that were there and that included the head of NATO and the head of the EU. And they all said the same thing, which is this, after 3 years of sort of deadlock and no talks and no change in circumstances, this is the first time where there seems to be some movement. Now, look, this is a complicated war. There's no doubt about it. I mean, this has been going on for 3.5 years. A lot of people have died. A lot of territories exchanged back and forth. So it's not an easy thing to unwind. But nothing was happening on this war. Literally, the only option that we were given under the previous administration was continue to fund Ukraine for however much they need, for however long it takes. And now you have people actually talking about pathways towards ending it. Now, it's going to take a little bit more work and a little bit more time, but we are making progress. It's not me saying it. That is virtually every leader there today said that in front of the cameras. And they're saying it for a reason, because it's true and they're witnessing it and they've been a part of it.
You know, Rubio has it exactly right. This wasn't just another summit, it was a turning point. I mean, when NATO Secretary General Marco Rubio is at the White House crediting Trump for making Europe step up on defense, that's not spin, that's reality. Democrats spent months betting on failure, but instead they're watching Trump deliver progress they never thought possible. He showed strength, kept America out of another war, and pushed the process forward without giving giving anything away. That's what leadership looks like, and it's driving the establishment crazy. Here's Scott Bessent dismantling their newest dumb narrative that Trump somehow got played.
And then yesterday, President Trump came in with a plan. He doesn't do these things randomly, and he knew what he had to do with President Zelensky. It was a very good meeting.
That wasn't flattery. The flattery argument on the part of NBC.
Laura, please. It goes back to. Again, in Alaska, that President Trump made a mistake inviting President Putin on U.S. soil, or the flattery. It's all the, they're demeaning themselves because President Trump wants to be a peacemaker. He's done 6 peace deals. He knows how to do this. He went in with a plan. We had a long pregame in the Oval beforehand. He had a strategy the whole time. And I don't think it's flattery. I actually think it's deference. Because they understand that President Trump is the only person in the world who can stop this conflict.
You know, the idea that Trump got played is just lazy wish casting from people who still can't admit Russiagate was a hoax. I mean, if Putin really had Trump in his pocket, why would he be openly praising direct talks with Zelensky? Talks Trump pushed for. Bessent is right. Trump didn't give away America's hand, he kept leverage while showing strength. No leaks, no concessions, no chaos, just results. Compare that to Biden's weakness, where every call got leaked and nothing moved forward. And now NATO leaders are giving Trump credit, Zelensky calls it a step toward peace, and even Hillary Clinton is offering guarded praise. That's not a man getting played, that's a man playing the game better than anyone else. But let me know what you think. Do you think Trump just secured the biggest step toward peace in Europe since the Cold War? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye!